want us to notice here is the heart of the seeker, okay? The heart of the seeker. If you look at in verse number 2, we are introduced to this man named Zacchaeus. And then the Bible gives us some details about his life. It says, first of all, that he was a chief tax collector. And this means that he had kind of reached a high level in his occupation. Not only was he secure in his occupation, but he had many people working underneath him. He had tax collectors working underneath him doing the work that was required. And so he was the chief tax collector. He had kind of made it vocationally. And because of that, because he had kind of reached this elite status in his occupation and in his vocation, consequently, the Bible says he was rich. He was rich. You know, it's take it for what it is. He had financial security, and from all intents and purposes, he had job security. And, these are the things that most high school and college graduates are still seeking today. If you look out into the greater landscape of this generation coming up, it's not much different than mine. When we look to our future, we look to choose jobs that would give us job security. No one looks at a list of future occupations and sees one that's, in the next 10 years, this for sure will go away. That's the one I'm gonna pick, No one does that. Everyone's looking for job security, and as it relates specifically to job security, everyone is looking for financial security. And I think in the hopes that if you can get job security, and if you can get financial security, then you can have some type of relational and life security, right? But what do we know? We know that these things can never truly satisfy because we were created by God with a unique hole in our lives that only He can fill. We were created to know God, to glorify God, and to enjoy Him forever. And so Zacchaeus is finding out here a truth that maybe you need to hear today. And for sure you need to know about those who are seekers in your life or who are seekers out there in the world. That even though they may have on the outside what looks to be everything going for them, even though they may have the job, they may have the money, truly Zacchaeus in his heart was desiring something more than just financial and job security. And so we see from verse 2 to 3 this transition that even though he was a chief tax collector and even though he was rich, verse number 3 says, in spite of these things, Zacchaeus was trying to see who Jesus was. So often in my life, I'm drawn to meet the external needs of those around me. And maybe you're like me. If you see someone broken down on the side of the road, my heart goes out to them. I want to stop. I want to engage with that person who has this great external need. Maybe it's a mom with a cart full of kids and groceries in the Price Chopper parking lot, and you see them. She's searching for her keys. She's trying to get the doors open, and maybe you'll stop and you'll engage with her. I mean, so many people are doing this. And it's easy in some cases to notice the external needs that people have in our world. But I'll tell you what's much harder. It's harder for us to have the awareness that no matter what someone looks like on the outside, they all have a great eternal need. And that need is to know and to be confronted with Jesus Christ and the truth of the gospel. And so whether or not someone has made it or whether or not someone is of the least of these in our society, they all have eternal need of salvation, whether or not we see their external need. And so Zacchaeus, something in his life had left him empty. Something in his life had left him unsatisfied. And I love what Psalm 107:9 says. It says that God, He alone satisfies the thirsty soul.